Hey guys, what's up there? Now I know normally this part of the week you're expecting some sort of horror parody that's done and edited like a home movie style just to exaggerate the humor a bit more, but I think this week I'm actually going to take a look at the health implications of marathon gaming. Now if you don't know, I am doing a 24-hour stream on Halloween. It's for charity, the Macmillan Cancer Support. If you'd like to donate, just follow the link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned, stay listening. There's going to be quite some helpful information here, both physical and psychological. If you're going to do marathon gaming, be sure to follow these tips and tricks because people have died playing computer games. There's one guy, he played Diablo 3 for 40 hours without eating. But originally, straight away you think like, that's insane, how do you forget to eat? The thing about gaming is it's a form of escapism, and when you are not happy with your life, the escapism, it becomes addicting, you know. And when you're addicted to something, your brain gets dopamine and endorphins released, and that becomes a pleasure center released by the brain. And then what begins to happen is your brain starts to prioritize that over everything else, and that's what really addiction is. So you might have seen my other video where I'm doing the epic training, get buff no fuss, where I'm kind of messing about with ways of training for marathon gaming. I'm being silly on there, but there is actual training to go into this. It's not as easy as just sitting there for 24 hours. It wreaks havoc on your heart, it wreaks havoc on your spine, your psychological disposition, your wrists, your hands. So you need to be fit before you do this. It's not just a matter of sitting there. Don't get me wrong as well, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is, feel free to do it, but be smart about it. Don't just go into it with no thought. You don't see marathon runners just go, yeah, I'll do that in a couple of months and I won't do any training. Because when they get there, they are going to collapse halfway through if they're lucky. And this is the same thing. Gaming is pretty much considered a sport now. There's so much money in it in comparison to other sports as well. It becomes a profession. And these guys who are professionals, they train. They're not, and it's not just playing a computer game all day, every day. There's a certain training regime that keeps you at the height of your reactions, the height of physical peak and psychological peak. One of the symptoms of sleep deprivation, which you will face in a 24-hour period if you don't sleep, is psychosis. There is an example of one boy had Halo 3 taken away from him. This is in America. He's opened up his parents' gun safe and he shot them both in the head. That is a psychological imbalance brought on probably through addiction and probably through bad sleep. Anyway, enough of bad stuff. I'm going to start giving the tips now because I know that's why you guys are really here. Definitely before you start, try and sleep as much as possible beforehand. Try and get about a 10-hour sleep and try to wake up 2 hours before you start, because that gives your brain time to get into that motion of the day. Don't just get up, sit straight on the computer, because your brain is never going to actually, essentially take off as an aeroplane would. You're just going to be tugging along the runway the whole time. Definitely make sure you have food. Good food would be, say, carbohydrates, like a banana, something that releases energy slowly over time. You don't want the rushes just yet. Like breakfast bars, protein bars, they're pretty good too for it. Then as the day gets on, once you hit around hour 18 to 24, I mean, that's when your body's aching for sleep, and that's when you need a sugar dose or caffeine or taurine, which is why when you get onto drink, for the first parts of the day you want water, you want to hydrate, but you don't want too much. I mean, there was one girl in a competition for Nintendo who died of over intoxication of water because she just drank so much. So know how much water you're supposed to drink. Research it first. I'm not going to state how much because it changes day to day. You know how health scientists and nutritionists are about this kind of stuff. One day bacon gives you cancer, the next day it heals it. But then once you get to the end of the day, you're going to want, I'm not going to say get a big can of energy drink or even get multiple. Don't get multiple. One can in a day is already too much. I personally like a small can of Red Bull. I mean, I'm not a huge guy. I don't have the body mass to absorb those huge cans of Monster and Relentless. I get hyper, and if you're sleep deprived and you've already got symptoms from that, the energy drink just enhances it quite a way. So that's the kind of food and drink you want to be going for. You want to stand up as often as possible. Once every hour is suggested, just for your spine, because you're sitting in a chair, you've got this position, or you're hunched over like that when you're really into a game. It wreaks havoc on your spine. You need to just stand up once an hour, get your back straight again. And obviously if you're in the middle of something, you're going to say, I'll do it in a minute. That minute will never come. You just need to stand up, and you need to do it right there and then, because your health is more important than whatever raid team you're on at the time. Your hands and your wrists are always at risk. You gotta stretch them out. Make sure that they're not cramping up. You don't want to get RSI. And you want good hardware as well, like keyboard and a mouse. You want something that's ergonomic for your hands. I mean, I have a keyboard that is a HP cheap. It cost me £6, $10. And it hurts my little finger, because with a lot of games you're pressing the control button and you're there like that. And after an hour, the ligaments are aching. So you really need to make sure that your hardware is up to scratch, as well as your software, for something like this. Resting your eyes, I mean, it goes without saying, you've been told since you were a kid your eyes will go square if you look at the TV for too long. Well, the same applies to computers, if not more. So, I mean, resting your eyes doesn't necessarily mean going to sleep. It just means give them a break from the visual stimuli. That is, just close them for a few minutes. Just to let your eyelids give your eyes blackness so they can rest. Because your eyes are made of cells that are harnessing light and it's absorbing it. And they can only do so much in a day, which is one of the reasons we need to sleep. It gives them a chance to recover. It gives the nutrition that you've metabolized over the day to go and recharge them. You can go for coffee instead of an energy drink. But if you're gonna drink coffee, do it after you eat. Coffee has a habit of blocking your indigestion. Coffee has a habit of blocking your digestion, so you can't uptake certain minerals which are obviously necessary for the body, otherwise you wouldn't eat them. Now, off the top of my head, I can't remember the exact minerals. I think it's zinc and iron. Iron is good for the blood. So now we're talking about your circulation and your heart. suffering because you drank coffee and then ate. Just swapping that order around, it improves your health. And it's just taking little decisions like that that's going to help you in a 24-hour period. I would never say do longer than that. Definitely don't do longer than that. But in a 24-hour period, you just got to take those minute decisions that just make a huge difference in your day. And remember, people, just be safe. You know, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'd be a hypocrite to say don't do it. But be smart about when you're doing it. And that's what I'd like you guys to take away with you today. Otherwise, that's it. Sorry there wasn't a parody. Sorry there wasn't some sort of me being stupid and creating something that just looks like the Blair Witch Project on a budget. But, you know, definitely hit the link in the description below. If you got any other tips and advice, leave a comment as well, because, you know, information is key and it's power. And it could even save someone's life. So just chuck it down there. And if you want to return next week to see what kind of idiocy I'm up to next time, like and subscribe as well. That's it, guys. Be safe.